Absolutely. Here's a YouTube article on the Volvo Truck Viking Evolution 1953, written in a dramatic, cinematic tone, and without discussing handling conditions, perfect for your channel. Volvo Viking Evolution 1953, the birth of the Swedish Titan. There are trucks, and then there are Vikings. Born not just from engineering, but from a legacy of resilience, strength, and timeless Scandinavian spirit. In 1953, deep in the heart of Sweden, something powerful rumbled into existence, a machine not built for speed or glamour, but for one purpose alone: to endure. This is the story of a truck that didn't just transport goods. It carried a nation. This is the Volvo Viking. Post-war Sweden, the need for strength. The year was 1953. The world was still shaking off the dust of World War II. Industries were rebuilding, borders were shifting, and Europe was rising from ashes. Sweden, though neutral in the war, was bracing for a different kind of battle, the battle of reconstruction, growth, and modernization. Roads were opening, freight needed moving, infrastructure had to rise from the ground. Volvo, already a symbol of Swedish engineering, understood that the country needed a new kind of workhorse, one that was stronger, smarter, and more durable than anything that had come before. That workhorse was the Viking. A new breed is born. The Viking wasn't just another truck model. It was a bold evolution. It arrived as a part of Volvo's second generation of heavy-duty trucks, standing proudly beside siblings like the Titan and the L395 series. But the Viking, it was special. Where others saw a vehicle, Volvo saw a backbone, a steel Titan designed to conquer Nordic terrain, haul across vast distances, and survive the harshest winters on Earth. With a powerful diesel heart and a frame built like a fortress, the Viking was ready for anything. The L485 Viking, the machine with a mission. The official name was Volvo L485 Viking, but to those who drove it, it was simply the Viking. It launched with a powerful direct-injection diesel engine, part of Volvo's then new D series. Its design combined rugged simplicity with industrial elegance, boxy, solid, yet purposeful in every bolt. The truck featured a ladder frame chassis, ideal for heavy freight and adaptable to different transport needs. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't trying to be beautiful. It was built to serve, not shine. And in that humility, it found immortal at the heart of a Titan, Volvo's D67 engine. At the core of the Viking's legend lay the D67 diesel engine. A six-cylinder powerhouse that delivered not just power, but trust. Because when you're crossing frozen tundras or hauling stone through rain-drenched forests, trust matters more than top speed. This engine wasn't about numbers. It was about never letting you down. It was the kind of motor that ran for hundreds of thousands of kilometers, sometimes millions, with minimal complaints. Ask any driver from the 50s or 60s who sat behind that wheel. They'll tell you, the Viking didn't just work. It never stopped. Design that meant business. The Viking's design was Spartan, not because of limitation, but because of purpose. Every line, every shape, every joint served a function. A wide front grille for optimal airflow and cooling. Rounded fenders that shrugged off snow, mud, and debris. A simple cabin, practical, straightforward, and durable, built for long hauls and long winters. Inside, the dash was minimal. Gauges were functional. No gimmicks. No distractions. Just the road, the engine, and the job at hand. In a way, the Viking was more than a truck. It was a reflection of its drivers, humble, tough, and relentless. The Viking spreads its wings. Though born in Sweden, the Viking didn't stay home for long. Soon, it was crossing borders, into Norway, Finland, Germany, and eventually even further afield. Volvo's commitment to reliability made the Viking an ideal candidate for international freight, and as Europe's highways expanded, so did Viking's reach. It wasn't unusual to see a Viking hauling logs through Lapland one day, and then pulling steel down Italian roads the next. It was global before globalization. Trusted before branding. And everywhere it went, it earned one word: respect. Viking in the cold, built for Nordic brutality. Imagine this. Minus 30 degrees Celsius. Ice biting at tires. Winds howling through pine-covered hills. And there, cutting through the white, a Volvo Viking, its exhaust steaming like a dragon's breath, engine thumping with mechanical might. This wasn't fiction. This was reality. Every winter, the Viking didn't flinch. Its diesel engine cranked even in the coldest dawns, its heavy frame shrugged off snowbanks, and its drivers knew, if anything could get them to the other side, it was this truck. Evolution through the 50s and 60s. Throughout the late 1950s and into the 1960s, Volvo continued to evolve the Viking platform. Improved engines brought more torque and efficiency. Structural enhancements made it even more reliable. Safety innovations, long before they became standard, were gradually introduced. While the world was changing fast, the Viking evolved slowly and steadily, always focused on its mission. To carry, to endure, to never stop. It didn't need constant reinvention. It just needed to keep being the best at what it was built to do. The legacy grows. By the mid-1960s, the Viking name had become legend. Volvo had begun developing newer truck platforms, but the ethos of the Viking lived on. Strength over speed, simplicity over flash, durability over trend. In many ways, the Viking laid the blueprint for modern Volvo trucks, trucks like the F-Series and the iconic FH models. Its DNA, forged in the fires of post-war need, would shape Volvo's future for decades. And in every long-haul driver's story, in every old garage photo, there was always a mention of that one truck. That old Viking that just wouldn't quit. Survivors of steel. Today, the Viking is a rarity. Most have long since retired, rusted in barns, buried in fields, or preserved in museums. But the ones that remain, they still run. Yes, even after 70 years, some Viking L485s still start up, still idle with that signature diesel growl, still roll onto dirt roads like it's 1953. Collectors, restorers, and vintage haulers cherish them, not as relics, but as testaments to an era when machines were made to last a lifetime. The Viking spirit in modern times. Though the Viking model name has faded, its spirit never died. Every modern Volvo truck, whether it's the FMX built for construction, the FH16 ruling highways, or the electric trucks shaping tomorrow, owes something to the Viking. Because it was the first to carry that identity. Relentless reliability, rugged strength, Scandinavian soul, and in an age of touchscreen dashboards and AI-assisted systems, the Viking reminds us what really matters. The steel, the story, the spirit. Conclusion. The Viking was never just a truck. In the end, the 1953 Volvo Viking wasn't just a machine. It was a symbol of post-war rebirth, a symbol of Volvo's commitment to dependability, and a symbol of a time when trucks were built by hand, forged in steel, and driven by will. It was a truck that didn't shout. It just showed up, day after day, mile after mile, and that's what makes it legendary. So the next time you see a sleek Volvo FH gliding down the highway, remember. It walks in the footsteps of a Viking. Would you like a cinematic intro voiceover or background script to match this for video production?